at the end of the day, if someone was to ask me why I was like put on this earth, right? I feel like it would be just to, if someone was having a bad day and they put on one of my videos or put on a moment from Wild 'N Out or whatever show or movie they see, they're like, wow, that made me feel better.
Welcome back to It Takes Universe. I'm Ashley, and today we have
Tim Chantarangsu. Hello.
That's the noise I make when I pee. I want to thank y'all for this Let It Burn award. I want to thank my sponsors, Vegan Life and Sushi, because you know we go raw all day. And
So the first question I always ask everyone is, where are you from? And then what was your first creative outlet?
Okay, fun. Where am I from? Like, where am I from? Like,
I
what? I mean, you out here in LA. Well, my family's from Thailand. Because I know, it's like, where you from?
Right.
From?
Oh, really? Yeah.
I was raised in like Long Beach, Paramount, 562 area. But I was born, fun fact, I haven't been back since I was born. But I was born in Billings, Montana. And moved to Long Beach when I was a baby.
Oh, so you don't remember it at all?
No, I've never been. I want to like go back to Montana to just be like, oh, I was born here, to check it out a little bit. But no, just Long Beach. Long Beach till I was like 10. Then my family opened up a Thai food restaurant in we didn't open up. We took over Thai food restaurant in Paramount, California when I was around 10-ish, and we were there for like 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then how you're moving, you're grooving, Thai restaurant. So then what did you first do, you remember, as your first creative outlet? What were your first
creative outlet? Well, if we're talking about like creativity like all around, I mean, I love to just like draw and stuff. Like I was initially, before wanting to be famous or like a performer, I told myself I was gonna like animate for Disney and stuff. Like that was my thing. I just like draw, sketch, stuff like that. I was just a creative boy. I would make up characters and superheroes and all types of stuff. And then it was probably around, I want to say like elementary school, where I wanted to, I realized I wanted to be on stage.
Yeah.
So I was always doing school musicals and little shows and stuff like that.
Okay, so then now you're like, oh, I want to be on stage, musicals, everything.
Yeah.
When did it transition from this is fun to like, I want to do this for money, my career? When was that shift?
So let's see. I kind of told myself that I wanted to be on TV early on. So I always tell people that I made a plan for my life. It's called the Fresh Prince format, right? That I wanted to do everything Will Smith did in his career. Rap, TV, movies, slap people, and that was. So I would say Fresh Prince was started like, I really got into Fresh Prince around like 4th grade. It's probably like Fresh Prince was like 96, something like that. Probably around then is I decided, I want to do all those things.
Yeah.
So I was, going hard, go to all Christian school musicals. And then high school, drama club, theater, all that.
And then you're prom king too.
And I was prom king.
Crazy.
Yes, I was.
Come on.
Hey man, it's I've always been this way.
Yes. No. I was like, when I was like, he was prom. I was like, that just fits him so perfectly. I was like, wow.
Prom king in a predominantly not Asian school, is predominantly Mexican and black, and I was able to get in there. You know what I'm saying?
The fact that you bring that up, I wanted to ask because why Fresh Prince out of all shows were so prevalent for you? Because I'm like, were there any Asian people on TV that you looked up to, or there wasn't really, and then you gravitated towards Will Smith? Because I feel like the personality, I can see why you would vibe with Fresh Prince.
I mean, it's both. There were no Asian people on TV. I mean, aside from like, of course, like, like kung fu type stuff, right? And I couldn't fight.
You got kids now, you better learn.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. No, I got a gun now. But I just, I was always like a goofy dude, I was always a goofy dude. I like girls, so the Fresh Prince, just resonated with me.
Right.
I mean, I love, I was probably a Family Matters boy before I was a Fresh Prince boy. And, but even then, I was like, oh man, Stefan is like so cool, right? So I was always like, I feel like I gravitated more towards like outgoing guys.
Yeah.
And I'm an only child, so I never had like an older brother figure. So when I got into the Fresh Prince, I really feel like Will Smith's character and who he was, like, I was looking at that as like an older brother, and I kind of saw myself in like this goofy class clown character who also was like, oh, love talking to women, and I almost feel like Will kind of taught me how to approach women, and also even though I did grow up being a confident kid, but like taught me how to like not care what other people think and just be stupid and be different, and this is just a big part of who I was growing up,
Because I know that's why you went. I know all the reasons of like why you, but for the people.
Yeah.
Tell us why it's DeLaGhetto to then Traffic. I know why you retired Traffic.
Oh man.
But to now you're the full government name.
Yeah.
To the process.
Well, I'll take you to the whole process. All right. So if you don't know, my original like YouTube stage name was Timothy DeLaGhetto. All right. And DeLaGhetto. There's an old episode of The Fresh Prince from like the first season where Will joins a poetry club to meet girls. And they're like, oh, okay, well, like, say a poem then. And he makes up a poem, and he makes up a poet named Raphael DeLaGhetto. And then one day, I was just freestyling on a webcam, and I said Timothy DeLaGhetto, and it kind of stuck. I was like, oh, it's catchy. So I made that my YouTube name. And then it wasn't supposed to be like my stage name, It was like, it was a YouTube. Everybody was making up just goofy little screen names, But then it kind of stuck. And I was Timothy DeLaGhetto. And then when I started like trying to put out like real like rap bars, I didn't want people to think I was doing comedy music, even though like I love like, I don't know, like The Lonely Island and stuff. But I didn't want people to think I was doing parody stuff, So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do Timothy DeLaGhetto for the comedy, and my rap name was Traffic. Because in high school, I would like rap battle with people during lunch and stuff like that. And my boy Cameron, who I used to rap with a lot, he was going by Traffic. And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna call myself Ticket. And we were like a little duo. He was Traffic, I was Ticket. But then after high school, he stopped rapping. And I was like, okay, well, I like this name, I'm gonna take it.
That's my name.
I was like, can I have that? I'm gonna be Traffic now. So then I was calling myself Traffic when I was rapping. Got like a couple albums under Traffic, and then I got to a point where I thought, okay, I've been doing this stuff online long enough now where people understand that like, okay, I'm funny and I also have real bars, So I was like, let me not confuse the kids too much and let me just drop one. And then I was doing everything under Timothy DeLaGhetto. And then
No, I want to show like it's okay to change things, change your mind. You've been doing this 20 plus,
I mean, this will be my 20th year on YouTube and creating like content. Oh God, I know, it is crazy. So literally during the pandemic, 2020, right? I was like just in my head being real introspective on life and death and shit. I think about death a lot, Not in a bad way, just death, just the concept of death and your legacy and shit like that.
Yes.
And I was like, if I died right now, let's say I caught COVID today and died,
right.
would I want to be remembered by this like little silly YouTube name I came up with? And I was like, no, I like long-term goal, legacy goals. I was like, no, like I did this, I mean, aside from wanting to be famous and wanting to just be funny, I was like, a big part of doing what I do too is because I wanted to rep for like Asian people and like young Asian dudes like me who didn't see themselves on TV and in the industry. So I was like, what if I just dropped the DeLaGhetto, started using my real government name, which is like a long Thai last name, Chantarangsu, which is one of the reasons why I thought I needed a stage name, because you go into Hollywood and you think like, oh, they're not gonna be able to say Chantarangsu, but then I thought like, oh, people can say Schwarzenegger.
Exactly.
They can say Milo Ventimiglia.
Yeah.
They can, so it's like, if I get to where I want to go, they will have to know my name and say it correctly, So I was like, yeah. You know what? Let me take this time where the world is kind of resetting, and reset a little bit, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna start using my real last name and like fully embrace like just that part of myself, where I remember growing up and being almost embarrassed of speaking Thai around my friends, you know, because I didn't want them to make fun of me or be like, oh, he sounds funny, whatever. So I'm like, and I always made sure in my old videos too, like if I was speaking to my mom, I would speak Thai like proudly and like loudly, you know, so kids would watch that and be like, oh, he's not ashamed of how his language sounds around other people. So I was like, okay, now let me let people know that I have this long last name I'm not embarrassed about, you know? So now I'm Tim Chantarangsu. Some people told me not to do it.
I love that you did. When I watched the video of like why you did it, but I loved it. I was just like, I also feel like crazy. I don't know, it's spiritual woo, but I feel like more opportunities will come and you'll be more in your power, like embracing your name and your heritage and everything.
I agree. You know, like there were people like, "Who you've branded for so long? Like don't change it now." But I'm like, you know what? You know, that's like, I just don't. If I imagine myself like accepting an Academy Award, I didn't want to be going on stage as Timothy DeLaGhetto as my YouTube name. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I kind of always picture myself, if anything, doing the Curtis 50 Cent Jackson like quotes that a lot of rappers do. You know? I was like, you know what? It's 2020. Half of the world is dying. Let's just kill off this name and keep it moving, you know? And also, of course, you know, I have to acknowledge the fact that like, as the world, as the Fresh Prince show gets older, there are more people that just don't recognize it as a reference to the Fresh Prince. And you know, they think like I'm trying to like appropriate the ghetto or like that aspect of it. I mean, and even though like, the part of Long Beach I grew up in would be considered a ghetto area, but that just wasn't a part of the name at all. So I was like, you know what, let me just completely just keep it going, you know. Now we've changed.
Now we're changed.
We've moved on, you know. And it's funny because some people will be like, oh, I see you changed the DeLaGhetto and now you're like switching up. I'm like, I still rap. I put out a new rap a couple months.
Never switched up.
Guys, I'm still doing black things. I'm still doing the same. I'm still appropriating as much as I was before, y'all, okay? The name change did nothing.
To me, for anyone to be like, you changed up, I'm like, I don't even know you. Like, and I'm like, this person is the same. Like, I'm like deep. I'm like, this is the same person. I found no shift. Crazy. Okay, so you're doing all these things. I was also watching some other podcast. When did you get your first agent? Because I know you were doing the agent prior to YouTube stuff.
No, so I never had an agent. Oh, okay.
I thought you were like auditioning and then you're like, it's all stereotypical.
Okay, yes. So yes, you're right. You know more about me than I do at this point.
I research heavy. So I like to, for this creative podcast, I always like to ask how people got their first agent or manager.
So I was in college trying to do the traditional acting stuff, right? And I was on MySpace uploading rap songs, and I was like, I should do the agent shit. And I found someone who, I mean, it wasn't even, I don't even know how I got connected with whoever. It was like extra work, you know?
Right.
And it was cool, I mean, I guess, if you like extra work, but you know, have you done extra work? Yeah. It sucks. Like it's.
I tell people if you do it as a SAG union person.
Yeah.
Because if you're non-union, you can't report anything to anyone, so they treat you like shit.
You just, I was not SAG, and so I'm just there, like, So I was in, if you watch Fast and Furious 3 Tokyo Drift, you'll see me just kind of popping up in the background. And it's like just so stupid. You know, I did not like it. Aww. But also the auditions I was getting, you know, there was nothing for me out there at that time, right? And that's why I started, and then I found this random website called YouTube. And initially me and the homies in high school, we were just making short films just for the love of it, you know, and submitting it to whatever. They're like random websites back then. There was like a website called Adams Films, and it was like different websites that would have these like, submit your movie, you know, your short, and see what happens. So we were just making stupid movies and showing them to our friends at school. So what happened was, we did a movie called Jason vs. Gumby, which is still online. You can watch it. It's so stupid, but it's so funny. And it was on my boy's website, my boy Pedro. And we kind of started to get a lot of clicks on it. And so his bandwidth ran out on his website. Like he couldn't afford to keep the website up. because it was all, we were just getting so much traffic. And then I found, and I was on MySpace. MySpace is a website where people used to post pictures and things.
Top 5 friends.
Yeah. And I'd seen a post that was like, oh, look at these white girls dancing Laffy Taffy, haha. So I clicked on it, and I was like, oh, this is funny. This white girls dancing Laffy Taffy. It was great. And then I thought, oh, well, but also, what is this website where anybody can upload, this is a video from someone's phone, and they can just put it on, and you can link it to your MySpace? Like, what is this, right? So I found it, and it was YouTube, and I was like, oh, anybody can put anything on here, and you can have a code to put on your MySpace? This is crazy. So then I was like to the homie, like, yo, we should start putting our movies on here, so you don't have to worry about your website.
Right.
And then I started just doing stupid shit off the webcam, freestyling, or like doing impressions of people, like ranting about stupid shit. And then I started to hit these like, you know, little most viewed lists on YouTube a little bit early on, because there wasn't a whole lot of people uploading on it. And then I thought this could be something. You know, this was before there was any monetization or any ads. This was kind of like Wild Wild West shit. You can still find porn on YouTube.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, that. So it was crazy, you know. So I thought this might be something. So I just kind of kept uploading and you know, clickbaiting people and like, you know what I'm saying?
I was gonna say that. I was like, your Instagram, your like, thumbnails are definitely clickbait.
Yeah, early clickbait shit, right? But then I thought, here's the thing. I felt like back then, if a lot of people are gonna clickbait, but if you can clickbait somebody and they're like, oh wait, I actually like this, then it doesn't count anymore.
Yeah,
so I definitely was, you know, had some misleading tags, but then people would find it. There's a rapper named Jin, Asian rapper, and he popped off on BET on 106 & Park. So I would tag all my little freestyle videos as Jin 106 & Park. So there would be people looking for his freestyles, and I would get a lot of comments that were like, oh, you're not Jin, but I like this though, right?
Nice.
So I kind of just build a little audience, especially as an Asian creator. There were so many kids who had never seen people like them who were singing, rapping, being stupid, you know, like stuff like that. So a lot of Asian creators popped off in the early days of YouTube, you know? So yeah, that was how my YouTube career kind of started out. And I kept uploading, and the more I did it, the more people clicked.
Do you feel like it was a combination of, I feel like there's a lack of opportunities for me, so let me create it myself? Or like you were saying, you were creating the shorts because you loved it, so you were just uploading it because you loved it. Do you feel like it was both? Or
it was like both. You know, early YouTube shit was like, there was no such thing as YouTube famous or a creator or an influencer. No one was making money. It was all for the love of the game.
Right.
Just let's see what happens, you know? My thought was like, I'm gonna upload a couple videos, maybe somebody will see it and it'll get me an audition for something, you know what I'm saying? And it just kind of turned into something that no one was really ready for, you know?
Billboard used to have an Uncharted
list.
And so that's how Nick Cannon discovered you? Or do you feel like he knew of your name prior, and then maybe that was like the solidifying thing of like, bring Tim in for this audition?
Well, let's get into all the lore, the deepest lore, okay? This is the loriest lore right here. This is Lorax shit right here, okay? So, Wild 'N Out was coming back, and I had heard through the grapevine. Actually, someone like DM'd me on whatever website. They're like, hey, Nick Cannon's bringing Wild 'N Out back. You should audition. And I was like, oh, that sounds interesting, because I was probably in, I don't know, junior high when the OG Wild 'N Out was on TV. And I always thought I would be great on it though. Like, oh, jokes, rap shit. Because, you know, I was like writing raps in like junior high, you know? So, cool, I followed Nick Cannon on Twitter. And at this point, I had been on YouTube for a few years. Enough where I had built an audience. So one day, Nick Cannon tweeted, who's the funniest person online? Whoever gets the most retweets of hashtag Wild 'N Out needs me, I'll audition them personally. So I had my minions retweet. And then as a result, somebody DM'd me from like that team and was like, hey, if you're serious about auditioning, contact this person. But also as a result of my tweet, my friend's manager, who happened to know one of the Wild 'N Out producers, also texted me. It was like, yo, if you're serious about this audition, I can get you in there. So it was like multiple people who were like, hey, if you want to get in the room, I can get you in the room. So I got the audition, I go to the audition, And when I walked in, because it was a room smaller than this room, with probably a couple of these lights, you know what I'm saying? And like Nick Cannon's are like right there behind the camera.
This is here in LA or New York?
This was LA.
Okay.
And I walk in, Nick Cannon's like, traffic. I was like, what the fuck? Why are you saying my rap name? You know what I'm saying? I was like confused. But then what I had realized is, as you said, Billboard used to have what was called the Uncharted chart, where it was mainly like YouTube artists and independent artists. And when they first launched that chart, I don't even think it's a thing anymore. I was number one on that list. And one of Nick's artists at the time was like number 2 or 3. So I think he was just kind of going through the chart and that's how he came to see me, right? But he will always, you know, that's the thing about Nick Cannon. He's such a supportive person, okay? He don't need to do Wildin' Out, but he's all about finding a way for new artists to like come up and create. And he will always acknowledge me as a lyricist whenever he's introducing me, like, cause he'll hit me up for other shows and he's always like, formerly Timothy DeLaGhetto, formerly Traffic, got bought. I'm like, thank you, Nick. He'll always acknowledge that part of what I do, which is I really appreciate, you know, especially as, you know, somebody who in the same lane as Nick will get called corny. I'm like, oh, who's fool trying to rap, you know what I'm saying, shit like that. So yes, in the room auditioning, the audition was like, hey, first rap. You know, and I was like, do you want me to freestyle or do you want me to spit some writtens? And Nick was like, whatever you want to do. I was like, okay, I'll do both. So I did both. And then it's games like, if you ever decide to audition for Wildin' Out, and they'll do shit like this. They'll be like, hey, Kevin Hart's in front of you right now. Wild style him, diss him, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that. And then you play a handful of improv games, maybe some pickup lines. And then and then if they like you, they'll call you back for a group audition with other would-be castmates, test the chemistry, test how you play with other people, coming up with songs and whatnot. I did that. And then they called me back the next week and they said, you're on the show. And that was without an agent. That was me just working with DMs and emails and shit, man.
In your digital catalog?
Yeah, before I was SAG. Before any of that.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. Oh my
Thank
God,
you.
Tim. Oh my gosh. So what did you feel from Wildin' Out? Because you've been on there a bunch of seasons. What did you feel like, what did you go in there feeling like confident about? Yeah. And then what was like your biggest takeaway from that whole experience?
Yeah, I'll tell you this. First season, because it was a rebooted Wildin' Out. You know what I'm saying? Because we were, and most of us were pretty new, except for a couple people who were on the OG Wildin' Out. Shout out to Mikey Day and Rasika and all the OG members who were super nice. I knew that I had bars. And I knew that I was funny, but I think it was a struggle for me initially to really find the proper like timing for like just what I would do comically and what was working on stage for Wildin' Out specifically, okay? Because I'll watch early episodes, and thank God they don't air those anymore. Like that first reboot season, I don't think they ever aired because I was so trash. I think everybody kind of watches and they're like, oh, these are kind of rough, you know? Because DJ D-Rec, he gave me a lot of buzzers in the beginning. And people, my fan base would watch and they'll be like, oh man, he's hating on you. But I watched and I'm like, no, my jokes were kind of trash. And I watched, and because of that, and I credit D-Rec for this and Wildin' Out, I think my joke writing process for TV improved so much because I recognized that it was whack in the beginning, you know? Now it's like, I understand how TV works. I kind of understand like just more shit like timing wise and structure wise, where I'm like, okay, this is gonna hit, this might not, and I'm a way better joke writer now because of Wildin' Out, you know? For sure. And because there was shit, you know, it's like, I've done stage things in high school, and I've also like, you know, I took some improv classes in college and shit like that. But it's just like, it's a different beast on TV too, you know? So
it becomes even though it's Wildin' Out, it still becomes corporate on TV. The joke, it's still like what you have to produce and how you say it and package it. Like
and you only have like a certain amount of time to get your shit off, and there's so many people competing for that time. Yes. So it was a lot of things. It was a learning process. So I think initially it was just a lot of things I needed to figure out. But like I said, I feel like my everything improved over time. I was on there for 8 seasons. But early on, I felt like I always kind of was good with the like the joke bars during the Wild Style, and it was easy for me because people would always come at me with Asian shit, and I've been rebuttaling Asian shit since I was, I don't know, in like first grade, so and like I said, I've always been in a school that was majority not Asian, so I kind of always had the clapbacks ready, but I've learned that from times of not having the clapbacks ready too, and having to figure that out. And in high school, when like I said, I'd be battling people at lunch, of course, we would always kind of go at each other in the most ethnic of jokes, and that was what we did on Wild 'N Out. So it's like, I think people would come at me with there's only like 5 jokes you can really do. It's, I don't know, bad driver, eat dog, little dick, you know what I'm saying? Short, So I would always have shit ready for that. I think it got to a point where people they were scared to come at me because they knew I would have a fire clapback ready. So yeah, and it was great. People asked me if I ever got offended, and I didn't get offended because that's what we did.
Yeah. I was like, that's the point. So when was the shift for you of like, I think I'm gonna step away now to focus on my own projects, or I got what I needed from this? When was that for you? Yeah,
it was like a nice, I think the universe kind of all came together. I had been feeling like maybe I was over it for my last few seasons, but it was still such a fun time, and it was easy work, even though it was it was tiring because they would knock out 2-3 episodes a day.
Oh, I had no idea.
But it was also it was fun, So sometimes I'd be in the group chat with all the guys like, all right, y'all, this is my last season. Like, yeah, right. They'd be like, yeah, right, shut up. And I come back, I do another season.
You're like, ah.
And then producer Niall, shout out to Niall, he hit me up one day. He was like, hey, let me know when you have time for a phone call. And I was like, Niall, I already know what this is. Just give it to me straight. And I was like, but like I said, I always put it to people like this. I feel like, when you want to break up with somebody, but they're nice, but they're fun, they didn't do anything bad, so you feel a little guilty breaking up with they're not the one, but you're like, but I don't need to break up with them yet, right? And then one day they're like, maybe we should talk, and you're like, yes, we should talk. So that's what it was. Okay. So now I was like, hey man, we're probably gonna go a different direction. This is, I'm like, now it's all love. Thank you for the opportunity, right? All good. That's great. Yeah. And I had just been feeling like maybe I had done as much as I could do, because like I said, I really kind of got the same jokes over and over and over again, and I do feel like there's like a season or a few episodes where you can feel I'm a little checked out, And I think I was just feeling like, maybe I've done everything I can do on this show.
Right, exactly. You've grown. Yeah, Quinta Brunson says that about BuzzFeed too. She's like, it was like a college experience. I felt like I learned what I needed to learn and then left to go write her shows. So yeah, if you're getting hit with the same thing, there's only so much you can actually say back to it.
Yeah, man. And look, I loved being able to rep for my people, because look, that was the pro and the con, and I wouldn't even call it a con, because like I said, I never got offended. Right. But yes, people would always come at me with the Asian shit. So it's like I could never rebuttal somebody like on some strictly black shit, because it's an all black show. So I was never like, I would have to come at the individual, but then they would come at me my entire race. So I'm repping my entire race, Yeah. So that it wasn't a challenge for me, because I was used to that.
You were used to it. High school, used to it.
High school shit. So it's all good. But no, I loved my time on Wild 'N Out. It opened up a lot of doors. Yeah. Even super exclusive, but kind of not exclusive. Yeah. Through my relationship with Niall, producer of Wild 'N Out. I got an audition for a sitcom coming up, and I booked it.
Yeah, you filmed it already, right?
And filmed it. Yeah. Just waiting for it to come out so I can talk about it. I'm so excited. It's my first ever scripted, reoccurring thing that I've ever booked ever.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna be like this, watching.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited for you. No, I was listening to all the other podcasts. Oh my God, yay! Okay, we're gonna come back to that sitcom thing. I wanted to ask. Okay, so after Wild 'N Out, you make so much content.
I know.
Okay, so you have your podcast, you have your sketches, you have your music, you used to have like the Tim's Bakery, like you have your father, your husband. Okay, so if someone's trying to follow in your footsteps, content creator to then being on TV.
Yeah.
How do you prioritize of like, what am I putting out? What is your schedule looking like? the frequency of the podcast, then I think you're taking a break from the tipping one.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
How are you navigating what to put out?
So I'll tell you this: the podcast, getting into podcasts was a blessing for me as a creative person, because, you know, I started my first podcast like 7 years ago. That was No Chaser podcast, okay? And what the podcasts, plural, are great for, because I had 3, I have 2 now, is that, like, I'm such a good yapper, right? So I can go into the podcast studio with the homies. For No Chaser, we do 4 episodes in one day, and those are episodes for the month.
Okay.
So then I can chill for the month.
Okay, smart.
And then Dudes Behind the Foods, we get in the studio twice a month, and we do 2 episodes each session. Okay. So it's like I can go in there, yap, have content for the month, and then be able to turn my brain on in the meantime, in between time. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, and it was helpful where I could, you know, where the podcast got to a point where now it's paying the bills, and I can creatively do things that aren't necessarily making money. You know what I'm saying? Like trying to write this movie script and shit like that, right? So that's why the podcasts were great. And then as far as a balance, honestly, my wife is such an organized person. I'm not. I could really benefit from more of like a schedule, which is what she's always trying to have me do. I can't. I'm trying to like get my brain to work that way, but it's difficult, you know? Yeah. So, but as far as trying to do everything, I just, you know, man, it's just like I do have ADHD. Yeah. I know everyone has it nowadays. I officially spoke to somebody about it during the pandemic. Yeah. Had a little like Zoom professional doctor analyze me. And here's the thing, right? Like, I always kind of thought like, oh, here's why I thought I might have ADHD. Okay. Because I had a homie who was like, hey man, I just want to apologize to you if I was ever like rude or like spaced out on you. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I had no idea what he was talking about, right? But he specifically mentioned that his family would always accuse him of not caring about things that they asked him to do, but it's just not, it's not that he didn't care, he just would forget. And that kind of resonated with me. I was like, oh God, my mom's been telling me that my entire life. You know, she'd tell me to do things and I wouldn't do it. He's like, see, if you cared, you would do it. I'm like, no, I care so much. I just forgot, right? So then I kind of started to remember like past times where I'd be having like a meeting with somebody, and I'd be like doing stupid like rude shit, like cleaning the table or like putting plates together or playing with shit while they're trying to talk to me. And I remember them like looking at my hands and being like, why isn't he this fool just like looking at me, right? And I'm like, and where I was with my boy having this meeting, I was with Rick, and afterwards he's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then I thought, oh, is this what that is? And I was talking to this lady, and I was trying not to be one of those people that like, to prove, like to show I have ADHD, so I'm like, I'm gonna lock in, right? Even though I know I was gonna be dozing off, I put the computer mouse right on her nose, and I focused on that shit the whole time. I was just staring at it, but then I guess she saw me like fidgeting around. She's like, let me tell you, my friend, you're in the right place. She's like, you got that shit. Okay. So, I say all that to say, yes, I would benefit more from some type of schedule because I'm so just everywhere, all at once. But that also can help as a creative because like, you know, I feel like as an ADHD brain, it will help me, you know, I'll super like fixate on something and, you know, lock in for hours and, you know, not sleep. But as far as prioritizing goes, my babies, having my first baby, my daughter, Veda, who's 5 now.
Great. She grown up?
She's so big.
She's independent now.
I will say is that's the moment I told myself I need to like get hungry again, because I felt like the hardest I worked is when I was just at my brokest and like and nothing was popping, you know, and that's when I was like, let's work, and then you get a little bit of money and you get a little comfortable and you get lazy.
Sometimes you need a break too, though.
And there's that. So you know they'll say like, you know, comfort is the enemy of progress, right? So I got a little comfortable, I feel, and I just stopped grinding like I used to. And then I had a child and I was like, all right, I need to get back on my shit, man, because private school is expensive and toys are expensive and Netflix is expensive. So I really, at the end of the day, the kids are the priority, and that are always kind of knocking me back into to focus again.
So why you're doing this?
Yeah.
Do you feel like, because I know you said on the same podcast that
How am I supposed to say? I was gonna switch it up. Oh Lordy.
because you still are producing content and everything, and sometimes you work with editors, but then you're still kind of like low-key editing it.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like you'll ever 100% relinquish that to someone as you're like, now you're doing a show, hopefully the show propels you into other things, and maybe an assistant scheduling? Do you ever feel like you'll ever feel good with that?
Yeah, I mean, at this point where social media is still pretty heavily, a part of what I do, that like when I'm clips of a podcast are going up, or little clips of what I do are going up, I'm so kind of like, it's hard not to fixate on, you got to get this in the first few seconds to lock them in, or you got to get to the joke. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'll watch, or I'll hire someone to edit clips for my podcast. I'm like, why did you? It's not funny when you cut it. Like, why did you? You should have left that 1 second. You know? And I'm like, no one does it right. So I always get in there. I'll pay a fucking editor to edit clips, and I'm sitting there on iMovie, just still tweaking it,
Like, let's have a comedic background.
It helps. But the goal is definitely to get to a point where I don't have to worry about it or care about it. So I mean, look, hopefully if this sitcom gets me to a point and it will.
Come on.
And it will.
It will.
So, where I'm in other people's productions and I don't have to worry about that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's great too. And then if I get my movie into a production, of course, I'm gonna be all about that shit, but
Yeah. No, I'm with you. So obviously 20 years, there's been hiccups. Hello, we're people of color. There's been hiccups. I guess I want to go back to one of the first things is like when you first had your first YouTube channel, it was like at 500, and then it got taken down due to a masturbation video.
Oh yeah.
And then
I was rapping about masturbating. I wasn't actually masturbating. Yeah.
But then you were like, I'm gonna make another YouTube, and people were like taking Tim DeLaGhetto 1, 2, 3, 4. Like they were taking it. So how are you? I feel like you're so positive, right? Have you always been like that? Or your parents like that? How do you keep that even with the blows?
Yeah, no, okay, I've always been a really positive person.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily know if it was, my dad's always been a positive dude, yeah. And my parents are happy people for the most part. And I think Thai people are also just happy people, we just like to have a good time. Early on, I just kind of felt like, man, what's the point of being upset about things that I can't change, So when it comes to something like, I don't know, my YouTube channel getting deleted or something like that, it's like, okay, if I send a couple emails and then nothing happens, then all right, well, what can you do? You gotta decide for yourself. I can either be upset about this, or I can find a way to move on and fix it and keep it pushing. I just think like, like I said, I'm always thinking about death. And I feel like life is so short. I just never want to waste any time being upset about something that I can't control. So I just like to. Got to keep it moving,
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I know. I think about death all the time too, because it's not more so like, oh, I'm scared of it. It's more so, I need to do what I wanted to do before I die.
Yeah.
Like if I get hit by a car tomorrow, but I did all my things, I'd be like, all right. Yeah. But if I get hit by that car and I'm like, I didn't do nothing, I'd be like, no. Like something to say.
My dad's he's always talked about death ever since I was little. It's just something we always like joked about and talked about. So it's like I don't know, it's just like in my head.
You were saying, when you were first auditioning back in the day, it was stereotypical, like martial arts, accents, blase, and now you feel like maybe there's been a shift.
Yeah.
Why do you feel contributed to that shift?
I definitely feel like I've contributed to that shift, even though I do feel like Asian Hollywood, they forget that I'm Asian sometimes, because
like the Chinese.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm just not like, and I also don't necessarily do a lot of like Asian content, right? Like,
right.
I think for years there would be these like Asian events that I never got invited to, and I'd have to remind people like, hey guys, I'm here, I'm doing stuff, and they started inviting me, which is great. But I do feel like, for one, being one of the first people to really start doing it on YouTube, and just independently trying to rep and make a name for ourselves. I helped that. And also I think, just times have definitely changed, I think everybody is way more just like conscious and thinking about that type of stuff now. I mean, in the beginning, even when I signed the CAA early on, like I would get auditions for stuff, and I told my agent early on, I was like, hey man, I'm down for anything, but like no accents. I'm not trying to do no accent.
Right.
And even though like, hey, I love martial arts movies, I'm not trying to do martial arts, not at this juncture.
Right.
Because I'm not trying to do anything that is expected.
Yeah.
No stereotypical anything,
Right.
Where I've had to, I have to turn down a couple like potentially really cool things, but I thought they weren't cool enough. You know what I'm saying?
Long-term goals.
Yeah, like there was one specifically, there was a producer who was pretty known for like a bunch of stuff. And I was meeting with him and he had a script where my character, I was like the brother, and it was supposed to be one of these like fake documentary type movies, and I was the guy holding the camera. And the initial character was like, oh, he's like kind of like nerdy camera guy. I was like, okay, all right.
All right.
Okay, cool.
Already
Let's
nerdy, okay.
see where it goes.
Right.
Let's see where it goes. And then it was like, the character gets like beat up. I'm like, do I want to be the Asian nerdy guy that gets beat up? Not really, but let me see the rest of the script, right? And then it was like, there's a scene where it's like, oh, this guy is hanging out of a car, his pants get pulled down, and the script is like his tiny penis is flapping in the wind. I was like, I can't do this part. And they're like, why? I'm like, bro, this is gonna undo all the years of everything I've been doing. Yeah, and they're like, and he's like, who do you want to play? Like the main guy? I'm like, yeah, that'd be cool.
The audacity to ask if you would want to play the main
So I was like, I can't do this, man. And what's funny is, and the movie eventually came out on some streamer, and all that's completely gone. That scene's totally different. The character's not even Asian. Everything's different.
Because it seems maybe other Asian guys also declined that.
Probably.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, man.
Tell me.
One time I was in a little pitch meeting. Me and this other, my other producer homie, we had an idea for a show, kind of like loosely based around like my wife, because my wife is part black, and it was going to be about like just me being Asian, dating a black girl, and it was going to be set around like one of the scenes specifically was going to be like, oh, when you're dating somebody from a different culture, they go to dinner at your house for the first time, they might like smell something that's unfamiliar, might be a little like funky, the food culture is different, right? So then we're painting this picture to this woman producer who we're pitching to, right? And then so she was white, but she was like a spicy white, maybe like a Greek or Italian or something like that, right? And then we're pitching her this idea, this particular scene of weird dinner, and she's like casually, she's like, yeah, and she gets there and they're like cooking dog or something, and me and my guy were like, like real cash, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, and I'm like, and this is not a slapstick comedy, you feel me? This I was like, okay. After the meeting, we're like, what the fuck? But the fact that like this is how normalized it was, you know what I'm saying? Where she didn't even think she was saying anything crazy to me, right? She thought this was, of course, that's gonna be the joke. But so I feel like so much of that has changed, right?
Right. I feel like it's changed because of social media. I feel like there's pros and cons to social media, but I'm just like, I don't feel like diversity would be in if it wasn't, because now it's like people can create their own opportunities and their own projects. So now there are more voices for us versus like just the big production companies.
I agree, and yes, of course, sometimes people are a little too sensitive, but at the same time, it is helpful that you see a whole bunch of people get mad about one thing, so you understand like, oh, maybe this isn't okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, yes, some people are way too sensitive, but also sometimes this shit ain't funny.
Truly.
You're
just racist.
Yeah. Like even going back to Wildin' Out, like I feel like some of the best shit to me was like the creatively racist shit. Like, yeah, I'd heard the cat eating cat shit so many times, but like, for example, my first season, rapper Conceited, I always credit him with being pretty creative with it. And he said some racial shit. He was like, blah, 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 Tim, you a dork. But you always get hungry watching cartoons. No, he's like, but when you saw the cartoon cat dog, you grabbed a knife and a fork. And I was like, I thought that was funny. Because it's not just you eat dog. You know what I'm saying?
Specific
It was layers.
Specific.
You know what I'm saying?
Specificity. Yes, yes. Okay, so tell me, Tim, why do you feel representation is so vital now, 2026? Not only for you, like trying to be like Asian people, but then for your mixed kids, because it's a whole different identity thing of like, hey, I'm Tim, I'm doing this for Asian people. Then for mixed people, it would be like, maybe your kids may not feel Asian enough, or Salvadorian enough, or Black enough.
Yeah,
or, you know.
And it's something I'm always thinking about for my children, especially, right? Because I think as a parent, initially you're like, I just want them to be happy kids. And as the father of a little girl, beyond the race, like before the race shit, I just kind of want her to be a confident little girl in like who she is and how she looks and who she is as a person, and not like to be bullied for like, not even like why she's physically like this, but just her physical being, right? And then after the fact, now it's like, okay, also, hey, here's what's fun. You're actually, daddy is Thai, you're half Thai, and you're also this, because mommy is half Salvadorian and half Eritrean. And I feel like for her, it's almost like a lot to even hear at this stage, but she's beginning to understand, right? Where I'll be like, hey, guess what? You're half Thai, and what else? And she'll be like, oh yeah, half Salvadorian, half Eritrean. I don't know what it necessarily means to her yet. Now it's just kind of like a list of shit, right? And at this point, she's only eating chicken tenders, but I'm like trying to have her try some Thai food and try some injera and try some this. Because I feel like, food is such a big part of the culture too, right? But at this point, she's a little girl that's like chicken tenders and likes to draw unicorns, and that's great, And I just want her to just live her best self and just be happy, And those conversations will come.
Yeah.
I'm also just grateful that she's cute.
Yeah.
Because I think less likely to get bullied as well. So
the reality of her.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh boy.
Even though I feel like early Uggs build character.
Resilience.
Exactly. So we'll see, man.
We'll see what happens.
She's 5 and she's happy, and she's a sensitive little girl, and she's hilarious, and I just want to make sure she feels safe.
She feels safe. Yes. Okay, so you have over 4 million on the YouTubes, over 1 billion views, which is crazy. You screenshot, you're like, I don't know when this happened, but it happened. But you still say that you feel like you just got in the door.
Yeah.
So what makes you feel that way? And then part 2, what are you hoping to accomplish with the next 20 years?
Great question.
Thank you.
Well, like I said, man, like you said, I've been on YouTube for 20 years. Done a lot of things.
Yeah.
But like my initial little boy that wanted to be the Fresh Prince was like, I want to be a movie star. I want to do everything Will Smith did. Like I want to. I mean, and to an extent, I've done that, right? Like my early, like my music, when it was kind of popping on the YouTube, because there was like a whole Asian wave of YouTube wave of Asian musicians. Yeah. Where we were like traveling the world and performing, and I got songs with millions of streams, and there are people that fuck with my music like heavily, right? So I'm like, I did the rapper thing. I could say that. I could check that off if I wanted to. And I've done TV. I did Wild 'N Out for 8 seasons. I could check that off if I wanted to, right? And I've done a handful of shitty movies. Yeah. Small, shitty movies. So I could check that off if I wanted to. But the little boy that wanted to be Will Smith, it's just not where I want it to be yet. I feel like as far as getting my foot in the door of traditional, no matter how much people want to say traditional media might be dead because of it's not, yes, digital, new media is its own entity, it's huge, right? Of course, there's people fucking making millions of dollars just live streaming, okay? That's great. That's not what I want to do. It's not just about the money for me, even though the money is great. Yes, I could probably live stream 24/7 and make great money. I want to make films, you know what I'm saying? And not just because I want to be a movie star, I actually like movies, and I want to make movies, and I want to act, you know what I'm saying? I want to write, and I like it, and that's just shit I want to do. So I feel like I grinded for decades to get in the audition room, you know what I'm saying? Where people initially, where it's when these new media people, when influencers, quote unquote, were getting auditions and were booking things, a lot of people, of course, there was the backlash of like, oh, these fucking kids are in here just because they have a following, which to an extent was facts. But like now I think it's at a stage where you're not gonna book it just off of followers. Your followers might get you in the room, but if you're not good, you're not gonna book it. So
take a class.
I mean, do something. So now I feel like, right, I've grinded for so long, I've built a kind of like a net worth where casting directors or people will see like, okay, beyond the following, which is great, we can get this kid in the room and the followers help, but also like, oh, he's actually funny. Oh, okay. Oh, he can actually write. So I've kind of built this as part of the resume to help me get in there when back when I started, there wasn't even any opportunities for anything. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I still feel like I'm just getting started. But also, I have to check myself regularly and take a step back and pat myself on the back and realize that like, hey man, you've done a good job, you know? And that usually happens when I'm like sitting somewhere on a rooftop getting some type of nice dinner. Like no, not nature, fuck nature. Skyscrapers and wine.
But it sounds like it's outside though.
It is outside. Nature, here up, it's nature. Here down, it's lights, okay? And a nice steak. And I'm like, hey man, you did that. Good job. You worked so hard and you deserve to treat yourself a little bit, you know? So yeah, I think it's a healthy balance of being proud of yourself and also never being satisfied.
Still being hungry.
You know, shout out to Lin-Manuel Miranda. I will never be satisfied. You know what I'm saying?
So let's manifest. What do you hope to accomplish? Let's say it now. Let's speak it.
Let's manifest.
Yes.
Let's Lin-Manuel fest right now.
Yes.
Also, I met him one time. I think I annoyed him so much.
Yeah, I saw the picture. And with Lady Gaga and Quincy and Justin Bieber, I went down the rabbit hole.
Wow. Manifesting. Okay, like I said, I finally finished writing my movie, which was hard.
I wrote a little pilot and I was like, people do 100 pages.
I know, it's crazy. I know it's crazy. I finished my movie and the writer homies I sent it to, they're like, awesome, hey, shorten this. So they're like, for a comedy, shorten this. So the goal, here's my short-term, long-term goal, okay? I'm gonna spend this whole summer really trying to get a real bag for this movie to try and get it done, get a real company behind it. But if I can't, by September, my boy, who's about to be 3, he's gonna start school, which means wifey and I will have our weekdays free again. Okay. So if I don't get real money by September to film this shit, I'm just gonna be like, fuck it, the kids aren't home. I'm just gonna thug it out and just do it somehow and get it done, you know? And put on fucking Tubi, you know? So that is the goal, get this movie done in a year or so, one way or another. And then write the next one, you feel me? And by then, let's say the sitcom drops in the fall, that'll also give me a little steam, you know what I'm saying? A little juice going into whatever I'm going into, potentially more auditions, more things, maybe another season, or continued seasons of the show. You know, okay, so manifesting. Continued TV career, because this will be my first scripted show ever. Like, yes, I've done the unscripted in a while now. Did fucking 6 years, 8 seasons of that shit, unscripted shit. But continued scripted success. More movie, success with the movie. Like I'm talking about, so here's the trajectory.
Like movie theater.
Yeah, like movie theater. Here's the trajectory, okay?
Yes, tell me.
Because you know how, I've built the whole last 20 years of trying to be the next Will Smith, right? The old head trajectory, now that these kids got me sprouting grays, I would love to hit the Jordan Peele lane, where yes, he was doing silly comedy shit, but now he's in his big director, writer, gray beard bag. And I would love to, because I have a lot of weird shit I want to do as well. But like right now, I'm focusing on the silly comedies. But then like when I can establish myself in that lane, if I can start doing my weird shit, that'd be great too.
For sure.
And then just keep raising these babies, and maybe I'll drop more music, and and then and there's one more. There's aside from the scripted show, there's an unscripted thing that I filmed a pilot for, me and the homegirl, that got greenlit for more episodes, and we're just waiting for that too. Okay. So it should be a good year. It should be a good year.
You gotta wait for it to come out.
Yeah.
It's good.
But at the same time, can't get too comfortable.
Exactly.
Yes, this shit might come out, or it might just all get deleted. Who knows? So I just gotta keep grinding, okay? And then in the meantime, try and stay fit, and try and keep my skin right, because that's a struggle as well. And
adulting is really hard.
It's a lot.
It's exhausting enough. How do you guys do it with kids?
Get cholesterol under control. My cholesterol's trash.
What's going on?
I know. It's just I think it's too much butter, too much processed food.
Okay. I feel like you answered it already. But you mentioned legacy earlier.
Yeah.
That's usually one of my questions of like, you're 100, you're retired, they're doing a 60-minute about Tim.
Yeah.
What do you hope your legacy to be when they're like looking back at Tim's career?
You know what? And as cliche as this sounds, I think that even when at the end of the day, if someone was to ask me why I was like put on this earth, right? I feel like it would be just to, if someone was having a bad day and they put on one of my videos or put on a moment from Wildin' Out or whatever show or movie they see, they're like, wow, that made me feel better. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I could cheer someone up or bring someone out of a funk or help someone with their depression. Because I've gotten those emails. I know like a lot of people will say this, but it's true. Like someone was like, hey man, I was depressed. I was like going through it, and then like saw one of your stupid ass videos making jokes about your penis or whatever, and it really helped me get into a different headspace. Like that type of shit gives me purpose as a person, So if I could look back and just be like, yo, I helped make the world a better place in that way, then that would be like I did my job.
So I usually ask what's the best piece of advice and the worst piece of advice. So maybe the best piece of advice you've given or that you got, maybe you want to tell to your kids growing up, and the worst piece that you've overheard and you're like, I always like to ask, you've been doing this so long, if maybe someone told you something and you're like, what? Best and worst.
Okay, here's some, just the first thing that popped in my head, because there's like a few things that I always kind of cycle through my brain, right? When I'm thinking about just staying in it and staying motivated and shit.
Yes.
I think in the online space and any creative space, you always got people talking shit, right? It's easy to get discouraged. So one thing that I always have to remind myself about, right, is that, check this out. Some people in the world don't like chicken. Okay, do you eat chicken? Okay, because I wasn't sure if you were vegan or not.
I hate chocolate, and that's usually a big thing.
And look, some people don't like chocolate. But like, so you could be the sweetest, most delicious piece of chicken or chocolate in a box, and someone's still not gonna fuck with it, no matter how delicious it is. So it's like when I get that like little hater comment that really gets under my skin or makes me want to get out of bed and fucking type a paragraph, I'm like, wait. This person just has stupid taste buds, Like, why am I letting this person irritate me that much, And that just always kind of helps me be like, why am I letting this random 12-year-old boy from Oshkosh, Wisconsin troll me, get me in my head and in my feelings about some shit, Like, let me just create and do what I do and worry about the people that like it, As far as like the worst advice I've ever got, how about don't quit your day job, because I feel like you should quit your day job.
At one point,
when
you're getting...
It's like, here's the thing. I got fired from my day job. and the week I got fired from my day job was the week that I won a YouTube contest and was able to have a little bit of money to pay the bills for like a month so I could go hard, and then I never worked a real job ever again. You know what I'm saying? So quit your day job.
That's so funny. When you have like a catalog and stuff to prove that, not day one.
Yeah. I mean, don't quit on day one. Make some money first.
Make some money.
Save a little bit, then quit your day job.
Maybe go back and then come back. Okay, so It Takes a Universe to Raise a Star is my twist on the African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child.
Fire.
So all of us in the industry are stars, trying to pursue our dreams, and the community as a whole is the universe.
That's great.
So thank you. So my last question I always ask.
Oh, it's right there.
It's right there.
Oh, it takes a universe to raise a...
Yeah.
Fire.
It's right there. So the thing I always ask is, who was a star in the beginning of your journey, 20 plus years ago, when you knew like, this is fun to this is what I want to pursue. This could be someone you know, don't know, whatever. And then who's a star now, 2026, sitcoms coming out, you're writing the movie. Start of the journey and now.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you this. Early on, I had a drama teacher named Mr. Carlin, okay? Rest in peace, Mr. Carlin. And when I had faced my first ever like kind of existential crisis in high school, first time going to a new school, and I joined drama class, but this is my first time ever being in a situation where I didn't know anybody, and all of a sudden I went from being like, you know, class clown, outgoing kid in school, to being like, oh, I'm shy now. Like, and then I was doing these little free writes in drama class, and I'm like, am I who I thought I was? Or was I only funny because I was comfortable? You know what I'm saying? I was like, am I actually like a shy kid, right? And then I was writing all these things in drama free writes. And Mr. Carlin was like, I'm gonna make you host this talent show coming up in a couple weeks. He's like, you're gonna host it, you're gonna get on stage, and you're gonna host it with this girl who was like, she was like a senior, popular senior, and I was like this sophomore, new at the school, only Asian kid. But he put me on stage in front of everybody and forced me to do this thing. And wouldn't you know it, I'm hilarious still. And it really kind of helped me get out of my comfort zone for the first time ever. And then I came back to school on Monday, and all the cholos who didn't know who I was were like, hey, fool, you're fucking funny, right? And then he really helped take me there, helped me realize who I was, you know what I'm saying? And I really credit Mr. Carlin for just being such a supportive drama teacher and like watering who I was as a performer and a person. And yeah, he was dope. And yeah, man, shout out to Mr. Carlin. And who is the star in the universe now that's helping me?
Yeah, 20 years later in the game, who's still keeping you inspired, like you said, still hungry, like, you know. Yeah.
You know what? I would say, gotta shout out my wife.
Yeah.
You know, it's not easy being married to a creative person, someone with an unstable job, and it's not easy being married to me necessarily, right? I'm all over the place sometimes. Like, I mean, yes, I'm like just so charming and so loving. I'm so great. I'm so funny, so loving. But also it's like, she really helps me bring that structure that I need. She helps keep the house in order when I'm when I gotta go film. Even when she's tired, she keeps the kids on a schedule and keeps everything together. She is helping hold it down so I can take the time to write my script, edit my content, do what I'm doing. And she really is like the rock that holds me down,
The Rock and Kevin Hart,
yeah. She is the Dwayne Johnson to my Kevin Hart.
I feel like everyone knows you, so where can they follow you?
If you don't, youtube.com/Timothy for some quality podcasts and the occasional hilarious food travel show. And Instagram for everything is just my full government name, Tim Chantarangsu.
Yay, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.